Nice to meet you.
It is so nice to finally meet you.
Yeah, this is great. And you're here in person, and I appreciate that very much.
Absolutely. Are you kidding? I'd go anywhere to sit with you.
Oh, thanks so much.
Thrilling.
All right, so for those of you who, for those of people out there watching that don't know you, tell everybody what you do.
I'm a writer. I wrote a book called Untamed, and I'm an activist. I run a nonprofit that helps hurting kids and women. And I started writing when I was trying to stay sober. So I got sober when I was 25, and I found myself in those recovery meetings and felt like I was meeting the first honest people I've ever met in my life. And that is what I needed, is to hear the truth and tell the truth. And then I started having babies, and I found myself just dripping with babies, and I couldn't get to the meetings. And I started to panic, and one day my sister showed up at my door with a computer, and she said, I want you to start writing each day, and I want you to use the voice that you use in those meetings. And so I started writing, and the first time I saw those letters on a blank sheet of paper, I felt, oh, there she is. There I am. And I use writing as a way to just tell the truth. And it's helped me stay sober for 20 years.
Yeah, congratulations.
Yeah.
You started drinking at 10?
Well, yeah, it was a tough life. No, but I actually did become bulimic when I was 10. So my addiction started very, very early and just morphed into everything else, as addiction does when you don't get it healed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then, so you're married, you have babies.
I do.
And, yeah, still do, but you were married to a man, had babies. Then you meet Abby Wambach, of course, the brilliant soccer player, who, and she just, everything changed in your life.
Yeah. I was married to a man, and I was in a kind of a broken marriage to a really good man, and that's a tricky place to be because women are supposed to be grateful for whatever we have, right? The first time I saw Abby, I fell completely in love with her, and I had never kissed a girl before, right? This was like completely wild, out of context for me. But like so many other parts of my life, in order to find a relationship and a love and a sexuality that made me feel comfortable in my own skin, I just had to go outside of what everyone's expectations of me had been. So we fell in love. We became this blended family. Craig was just unbelievably gracious throughout the whole process. Abby always says he gave the kids permission to love Abby, which was an unbelievable gift. And Abby became a bonus mom. And she, I don't know, just watching her be a stepmother to our kids, I just think that step parenting is the most scrappy, selfless, thankless, divine love on earth. It is something that should be celebrated more. I just love Abby.
Yeah, well, and it's apparent. I mean, y'all have, it seems, a great relationship.
Yeah.
I follow you on Instagram, so I watched her try to dance and cheer you up the other day.
Yes.
And I say try to dance. I don't mean to be, but I don't know what she was doing.
I don't either. It was convulsing, a lot of convulsing, but it did make me laugh.
It did cheer you up, yeah.
Yes.
So before you became an author, you were an elementary teacher.
Yes.
And what made you change careers?
Well, I don't have a very romantic story about that. I mean, I became a teacher because it's in my blood. My parents are both school teachers, and so I was taught to understand that the best and the brightest become teachers. I still feel like I'm a teacher. I just have a much bigger circle time now. And I left because I couldn't afford to work anymore. Like, so when I started having babies, I had to pay more for daycare than I got paid in the classroom. So I had to leave, like so many teachers do, which is why we should pay teachers a hell of a lot more.
We sure should. Teachers, it's crazy. We expect them to, like, raise our kids.
That's
I say our, like I have kids. But I mean, you know, I want kids to grow up and you know, be educated and learn kindness and learn everything that great teachers teach them, and that then we don't pay them enough. It's ridiculous.
That's right.
I also love how transparent you are about all of your struggles that you've had in the past or continue to have. You really, and I think that's what everybody responds to with your podcast and with, you know, and when you speak, because you really are honest about, you know, we all have feelings.
Yeah, it's hard to be honest about who you are and how you feel, but it's harder not to be.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, I think that's one of the reasons I fell into addiction. I had big feelings, and I thought I had to numb it all. I thought it wasn't okay to have. But at a meeting that I went to early on, I stood up and I said, I'm Glennon, and I've been sober for a hot minute, and I'm miserable. And I'm afraid, it feels like everyone else has some secret to life that I don't have, because it looks like it's easier for everyone else than it feels for me.
Yeah.
And this woman sat down next to me and she said, so the secret to life is not that it's hard because you're doing it wrong. It's hard now because you're finally doing it right. And if there's any secret to life, it's that being human is not about feeling happy. It's about feeling everything, right? So we just talk about forget feeling happy, just feel it all and tell the truth about it. And that is the only thing I found that makes life any easier.
Yeah, and it's hard to feel it all.
Yeah.
All right, when we come back, we're going to talk about your podcast, which is doing very, very well. We'll be back. The book Untamed, which I thought I had it here. And where's the book? Can someone bring me the book? Oh, thanks.
Oh my God! Hi, Abby. Nice to meet you. Nice to meet you. You're doing so good. Am I doing okay?
You're doing great.
Okay.
Fine.
Okay. Oh, that was so nice.
Well, she was upset that you were on the show before her, so I wanted her to be on the show at the same time you were on the show.
So she has feelings.
Yes.
She has feelings about it, Ellen. Yes.
So that's why I wanted her to bring the book out. Okay, so Untamed is a beautiful book. It's going to be turned into a TV show, right? Mm-hmm. That's amazing. And when and where and
soon, and I don't know where. And it's very strange because someone else is writing about me. I'm used to controlling the narrative. So I showed the first script to Abby and I said, this character is all wrong, me. Like, look, she's so neurotic and dramatic and I don't even recognize this person. And Abby said, I think that they're right. I think it's dead on. So I had to kind of just let go.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, because that makes a great TV show.
We'll see.
Yeah. And so the book inspired the podcast.
Yeah.
And the podcast, how did you come up with the title and tell everybody what it's about?
So it's called We Can Do Hard Things, and that slogan, We Can Do Hard Things, is how I got sober. My friend, who was a teacher, had it in her classroom, and I used to walk by it every day just to give myself a little courage, I guess. And so I wrote about it in the book, and We Can Do Hard Things during COVID became a real rally cry. You know, first responders were writing it on their masks for their patients, and teachers were writing it in chalk on the sidewalk. And so I have a dear friend who during COVID started to do hard things walks with her friends. So a group of women who had known each other for a decade would show up on this path and they would each bring their hard thing, okay, whether it was about their family or the world or their work. And through these walks, they started to know each other better. And my friend Allison told me that they had become closer than they'd ever been before. And I think it's because they finally stopped faking, right? And they finally brought to each other the hard stuff that we were meant to help each other carry.
Yep.
And I think that this is something that we can bring post-COVID, right? It's like there are some things that we actually learned during this time that we want to bring with us. And that is this thing that we can let go of some of the small talk and the fakeness and just really be honest with each other about how hard life and relationships and all of it can be.
And it's great, and each one is a different topic.
Yeah.
But for people, because I think a lot of people do struggle with anxiety. I am honest about I struggle with anxiety. But what tips do you have for people who struggle with anxiety?
Oh gosh, well I am a clinically depressed, clinically anxious, motivational speaker. So first of all, if I can be that, anyone can be anything, right? I mean, I think one thing we can do is really, there's so much stigma around depression and anxiety, but I also have found great gifts from it. I think we can talk about the gifts that people who are extra sensitive bunnies bring. I mean, the sensitivity that led me to addiction and depression is the same sensitivity that makes me a really good artist, right? And the fire, my therapist calls it anxiety, but I call it my fire, that makes me a little bit sweaty and fearful also makes me a really good activist. So I think there are gifts from it that we should talk more about. And you know, the little tricks that I've learned over time with anxiety, one of the things is when I get really anxious, it's because I'm future tripping in my mind. I'm scared of everything that what if, or I'm obsessing about the past. And so one of the things I do is to locate and listen. So I learned that very early on as a kid. And the first thing I do is try to find something that I can touch, because that grounds me, or something that I can hear, because that grounds me. So that brings me out of the what if and into the what is. And what I've learned is that if I come back to the what is and the right now, I'm always okay. Right? 100% of the time, I've been okay in the what is. And so if I can get myself back to this moment, I can remember that I've survived every moment before now, and one thing at a time, I'll survive every moment to come. And so that's how I make it through the day.
Well, I recommend you read Untamed because it's a beautiful book, and you can listen to Glennon's new podcast. It's called We Can Do Hard Things on all podcast platforms.